Okay, guys, I am fired up, and you know what? You want to know why I'm fired up? Because today, April 15th, is Leonardo da Vinci's birthday. If he was alive today, he would be 568 years old. All right, so I'm very passionate about Leonardo. I love his stuff. I love his journal entries and his sketches, and he's incredible. Look him up. I made a class, which this whole video is about, and it's called What Would Da Vinci Do? And so you can, if you want, so we're going to have it for sale digital, so you can just print it off and do it at home. Or if you want the book, I'll put together this book for you, and that's $25. Anyway, I think I'm going to do a whole series of them. But right now we just have the one for you. So this is great for kids or all levels. So it can be so basic. It can just be as basic as you want, or if you want to go all the way into in depth and start doing calculations, you can take it to whatever level you want. So what I did is I went up to Sacrifice Cliffs, and I go there quite often, so I knew the place, and I made up a story, a tall tale, and about these sculptures that were on top of the rims, and they're very old, and they have fallen off, and they landed in the river, and the river has slowly pushed them down to some islands that are there. And when there were some climbers climbing on the cliffs, they noticed these shapes, but they were underground, and so they went they got curious, and they discovered these 5 sculptures, huge, 150 feet long by 40 feet in diameter. And they are carved out of obsidian rock, black obsidian. And so the challenge of this one, the idea is I want you to go through and make sketches kind of looking at, and there's some examples of Leonardo da Vinci's sketches from when he was making like sketches of things that would lift things up. So I put a couple of those pictures in there. Here, I'll show you. So here's some of his sketches about lifting things. And so he's super in depth. Like this guy was a wizard. And okay, so then the next thing is Leonardo da Vinci was at the cutting edge of technology. So a lot of times we think about him as being old-fashioned, but he was at the cutting edge. So if he was alive today, he would be messing with computers. He would be messing with different kinds of chemicals and messing around with solar panels and electronic cars and batteries and where he just was an incredible guy. So when you're doing this project, I don't want you to think like, what would Leonardo da Vinci do back in the day with that technology? I want you to pretend he's here today and think about things that are super advanced, but I want you to, if there's something that is so advanced right now that it's tough for us to believe it, make it believable. And instead of saying like the thing flies up by magic, say that there's some pillars wrapped in wire and they use electric currents to be able to connect through the air and it will lift it. Something like that, all right? Make it believable, but a little tall tale, because you're going to need to do some wild thinking to get these sculptures from all the way on the island. You got to lift them up, move them over, set them down, get them back in their place. All right, so I hope that's enough of a hook to get you excited about this. And yeah, I even drew, I thought this through, man. I drew these maps and things so you can study them, and you can go to the different parks And when you're sitting there at the park, you can look at this, or if you go up to Sacrifice Cliff, you can look down at it and it should look something like that, or use Google Maps and look at Google Maps compared to this, and use the internet, research stuff. I want you to go crazy as you want, but it should be fun, and it should be, if it gets to a point where you need to use a little magic, use a little magic, all right? So the rest of this video is about, I went up to the place this morning. I went up there to do a workout. I would not recommend it right now because it's cold outside. No, but I went up there and bashed around and so you can have a little bit of a visual. If you're actually doing this class, and in the future when I make them, I plan to go to the places and do a little video to go along with the booklet, because then you can have a little bit of a visual compared to just looking at the maps. The maps are fun, but it helps to see the place. And again, if you can get out and about, if you're a kid and you can't drive, have your mom or have your uncle or somebody bring you up there and walk the little trail. It's not very long, and go and check it out, and bring your map and look at it and check out the space and think about how would you get those things up there. All right, so the rest of the video is about me just bashing around out in the field. All right, so there is one parking lot right here. That is the Four Dances area, but don't go to that one. Drive right past that. So there will be a long white fence, and then right on this corner you're gonna make a right-hand turn. So you come and park here, and then that's the trail. I'm gonna go and hike up that way. Alright, so here they have a little map. I should have came here to draw mine. Okay, so you can see this is where we are. And then I'm gonna hike up here. And this is Sacrifice Cliff up here. And this is an island right here. This is where some of the sculptures will be. And then there's another island down here that you'll see that there will be a couple of, or one sculpture there, and then there's one here. Alright, and so then we go, and this is the trail. Let's go hike up there. Alright, so when you get to this point, then when you come up to here, the trail is going to split. And they all do loops, but if you go this way, it's going to take you a while to be able to see off of the rims. So then if we go up this way, that way will take you right up to the top of the rims. And this one is the trail that goes, if you follow it, it goes all the way down next to, you can go all the way down by the river. It goes all the way down to the water. We're going to take this one, we'll go up, and I'll show you off of the top. Okay, so when you come up to the top, this is it, right here. The river's down there. You can go two ways. I'm going to go this way to show you a better view of the islands, and then I'll come back and go to, there's a whole bunch of signs with information, and I'll show you off that edge. Okay, so it was too windy in the video, but anyway, now we're on top of Sacrifice Cliffs, and you can see that the interstate is right there, and then as it comes around, goes around there, and there's some trains. Billings is there. This is the first island where there'll be some sculptures. There'll be one sculpture there, and then one there, one there, one there. And so then way down there, there'll be another one, and way down there, there'll be another one. So you can see that's where the islands will be, and that's where you have to get them from there up onto these rims. It's hard to see the scale. We're way up here. We're way up here. That is Josephine Park, and then way over there, right there is Mystic Park. And then There's a KOA over there, but you can go out on that beach right there if you go to Mystic Park. Okay, so now we're at this side. There's all these cool, these really cool signs and everything. And there's benches too. If you come up here and you want to draw, you can sit down, take a rest. But I'll show you off of the edge of this cliff. There's all these little perches. Of course, if you come up here, be careful because look at this. This just goes straight down. It's hard to get an idea of how tall these are. So this right here is the island. The sculptures have fell off of the cliff. Sploosh, fell in there. They have been pushed down. One is there, one is there, one is there, one is there, and they go around the corner. But if you want to try to get an idea of how high up here I am, you can see the train and the cars. Look at how small those trees are. It's so huge, you guys. It's so huge. Okay, so now I'm at another, I went down a little bit and I'm at another point on the cliffs. Look at, there's a goose. You see that goose? Anyway, there's the island. These power lines come across here. And way over there, you can see those cliffs there. All the way over there is where Pictograph Caves is. That's a really cool place. Go check it out. Okay, so one more. I'll give you one more view. All right. All right. So look, that gives you a little bit of a better idea, I guess, with me in the shot here. I'm standing right on the edge of the cliffs. Hey buddy. Anyway, I'm at Mystic Park, and so now it's a little bit of a different view, isn't it? This is one of the islands that we were looking down on. Here's these power lines right here coming across. I don't even know if you can see them on the video. Let's see. See those orange balls? Those are on the power lines. And they come across. Over there is Josephine's Park. So I wanted to give you an idea of the scale of these. We were up there on top. I wish there was a person up there so you could see them, but anyway, you could see that's a tree up there. So if you imagine a bench next to it, these cliffs are huge. So keep that in mind. And the islands are over here, way over here. You gotta lift those suckers up and bring them all the way up there and set them so they're standing up there. Alright? So that's the challenge. Now ask yourself, what would Leonardo da Vinci do? And how would he get these sculptures up on top of the cliffs on those rims up there? So I hope you enjoy the little puzzle, and I hope you make it as simple as you need or as hard as you need. It can be as simple as, well, he just put a really tall post up and a post across, and then he goes way up and across and sets it down. You can make it that simple, or you can go way into depth and design this thing. I want you to, again, think like Leonardo da Vinci. Pretend that he is alive today. So any of the wildest resources you can think of, like you know, a thin layer that is you can use for a keyboard, or has some kind of magnetic force field to lift things or to pull things together. Use whatever kind of technology you're into and dive in and study it a little bit. Even if it's not quite invented yet, push yourself to think, well, what if it could? Like if there was, for instance, if you were looking into like making things teleport, we don't have, maybe they do, but I don't know. We can't like teleport something, make it from nothing and move it to somewhere else. But they're like getting close. They're messing around with it. So look into it, and then use some of that information and put it in your notes and just act like it's fact. So I hope your brain is getting fired up and thinking about it. And go to these parks, check it out. It gives you an idea of the scale of how big these cliffs are and what kind of machine it would actually take to get these things up on top. So enjoy the puzzle, and you can expect more to come, because I love this. If you're ever wondering what's going on in my head, that's it. That's this is what I created. This is what goes on inside of Doodlin' Dan's head. All right, it's kind of snowy out here and cold today. I hope you're having a good day, and if you're not, send me a message and say, "Hey Dan, I'm kind of having a day, and I want some brainstorms, and I want to dream, and I want to do something." All right, send me a message, and I'll tell you something. Might not be good, but it'll be positive, and it'll be something. All right, have a good one, you guys.